We talked a lot about like trying to find my purpose and what my purpose is, and I've learned that sometimes your purpose is not tied to a particular job,
Mm-hmm.
but more so like an action. And in all of my titles or positions, I'm in service to others, and that's pretty much what I want to do. That's what makes me happy.
So I want to start off with you, Kiarra. When I first met you, you were just starting the program at Penn North, and you have done so much since then. You've finished a training program to be a community health worker. You've actually gone a kind of full circle through your recovery, right? You've like completely completed 1 year of the program. Can you kind of tell us what your plans are for the future, either for work or life or health or whatever?
Um, well, like I've learned as a community health worker, my plans are just like to advocate for women of plus size who have, health disparities, people in substance abuse recovery who I've learned like, physical and mental, spiritual abuse kind of ties in relation to. So pretty much just advocating for people I can relate to.
Yeah. And part of it is this organization you have, Beautiful Beyond Weight. So kind of what is that and why is that meaningful to you?
Um, well, the acronym BBW usually means like big beautiful woman or something like that, but it always magnifies the weight portion. I created Beautiful Beyond Weight so that plus size women could learn to love themselves outside of their weight,
Mm-hmm.
outside of what society deems as beautiful. Um, knowing that you don't have to be a size 2 to love yourself, or you don't have to be a size 2 to be a model, which is how it started as a plus size modeling group. But it has since, with the support of Penn North, gone a lot bigger than that. So now we have like support groups, we have like healthy living initiatives, just saying, okay, yes, I can be cute and plus size, but I can be healthy as well. So, yeah.
That's so awesome. So what do you think made the difference this time in your recovery? Why do you think you were able to do it this time?
I was ready this time. Recovery is definitely something that you have to do when you're ready. Before I've come before because my mom wanted me to come, because my family wanted me to come, everybody wanted me to get clean. This time I wanted to get clean. Um, I wanted to live different. Um, I wanted recovery for myself this time, so that made the difference.
Yeah. Steve, how is Kiarra similar to or different from some of the other Penn North clients?
She's very similar in a lot of ways. Most of the people that come there, and I would say probably 80% are ready to change their lives. And then you have maybe 20% that aren't, that are trying to get some rest from either prison, homelessness, or just trying to get away from drugs themselves. But everybody that comes there has issues. And once they address their inner issues, then the drugs won't be a problem. Drugs and alcohol, I tell people drug treatment actually doesn't work. You go somewhere for 6 months. Most insurance companies have gotten in the way of drug treatment. So you go somewhere for 6 months. Your time is up. Where do you go back to? So at Penn North, we advocate for people to stay a year, 18 months, 2 years, so you address all the holistic problems that caused you to go to the drugs in the first place. So drugs, it's the obvious symptom that people can look at and see, but what about your inner self? What about your self-esteem? What about abuse? What about homelessness, criminality, all those other things that really affect you? Once you address those things, then drugs really won't be the problem anymore.
Yeah. And Kiarra, how has Penn North in particular helped you? I mean, so just so people know, you live there still, right? And
Yes.
yeah.
So to many, Penn North may be like a substance abuse treatment center,
Yeah.
but for those of us who stay there, it's like a place of refuge. Like you said, we don't just come and get clean. We come, we get clean, we get therapy, we get families. Like Penn North is very family oriented. Everybody is your aunt or your uncle or your mom or your dad or like I've come and got a family outside of my family. So, which is the case for a lot of people. And it needs to be that way with something as, as hard as overcoming substance abuse, because that's not an easy plight. So, to go to a place where people actually care, um, makes a big difference. It makes all the difference, you know. So,
So you felt like you had support kind of all the way around you in a way?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Even when it didn't feel like support. My counselor's favorite line was, help don't always feel like help.
Yeah. That's true. And one of your supports is actually Steve. So Steve is the president,
Yes.
but he's actually, you told me that he offered you really good advice and friendship from time to time. Talk about your relationship.
So, in a lot of companies you go to, like, you can't talk to the president, or you can't talk to, like, the CEO. They're not people that you can just go and, hey, sit down on their couch. You have to go through, like, a chain of command. Steve is, like, in our groups, in the hallways. You'll catch him, at our meetings. So, like, he's one of those people that's just interpersonal. Like, he comes. But that's with all our staff. Like, all of the staff there are like family. Like, they support you. Like, now it's a lot of the staff members here in the audience. Like,
Yeah.
so it's like the support system that they create for you is much different. Like, there's 1,001 treatment centers in Baltimore City, but there's only one Penn North. There's no other treatment center, and trust me, I've been there. There's no other treatment center in Baltimore City like Penn North.
That's
Period.
awesome. Well, you told me a lot during the year that we spent together. You told me a lot about different dreams that you have. I was wondering kind of what your dream job is now, or kind of what you're looking to do now.
So lately I've got, like I said, a lot of support for Beautiful Beyond Weight. So I'm gonna start working at, I know a lot of Johns Hopkins colleagues are here. I'm gonna start working at Hopkins as community health worker on July the 9th.
Oh, nice.
So that's the first thing. And I'm not leaving Penn North because that's home, so it's gonna be my part-time job. But like, just helping people, period. We talked a lot about like trying to find my purpose and what my purpose is, and I've learned that sometimes your purpose is not tied to a particular job, but more so like an action. And in all of my titles or positions, I'm in service to others, and that's pretty much what I want to do. That's what makes me happy, and that's the one thing I can do without being paid for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Or to get paid for it is even
Right.
better, right?
Yeah.
Well, Steve, I wanted to turn to you because you actually have decades of experience working in substance abuse. What have you seen, and you're from Baltimore, what have you seen as far as changes in drug use in this city, recovery efforts and recovery opportunities? How have you seen it evolve over the years?
Well, Baltimore has always traditionally been a city that was addicted to heroin. And so I watched it go from heroin to heroin and cocaine, crack cocaine, and recently the whole opioid epidemic and what's happening. Heroin has been pushed out of the way, and we have fentanyl, and it's causing so many health issues. We don't even know what's going to happen, how this is going to work out years from now, what's going to be the effects of this. The other thing is with I think one of the things that we need to do, we need to address, is we keep talking about overdose. And we have all these signs about overdose on the bus and on television. We need to stop telling people that it's an overdose. It's actually chemical poisoning. There's no dosage that you can take. It's not a drop of dust. Dust will kill you. A couple grains will kill you. So if you're taking Percocet and the doctor prescribes one and you take two, that's an overdose. But if you're actually using carfentanil, fentanyl, that's not an overdose. That's chemical poisoning. So I think we need to change how we talk about this so that people can understand. Because some people are out there thinking, well, I can just do a little bit, but the little bit might be what kills you. So I think we need to change that conversation. The other thing that I've watched is with the gun violence, we see so many people, and I showed you that when you came around for a whole year. We see people in wheelchair after wheelchair on walkers.
Yeah.
We see people who are now, their lives have changed because of gun violence. The drugs, they're being chemically poisoned, so now they have brain damage, or these type of things. So their health has changed because of that, and so the community is changing. It's revolving around those kind of health issues. And what you wrote in your article, we used to talk about having a desert, a food desert, but now we're talking about food swamps. So we're talking about people who are eating fast food all the time, people who are eating fried foods all the time. So you have an uptick in diabetes, high blood pressure, stroke. So I've watched this change, and it's becoming horrible. So until somebody gets together and does something about it, health in America is going to go down. Life expectancy in those parts of the city are going to be very low.
And this is a question actually for both of you, if you want to answer, but what doesn't work? What have you seen come to the city that, a lot of people want to help Baltimore? What has not been effective so far?
You want me to take? So I have a book. I have a book on my desk called The Tyranny of Experts, and I showed you that book. So one of the things that happens is a lot of people come up with all these great ideas, but they never go to the people who are suffering from these conditions. And those great ideas don't trickle down. And then you have a group over here that's attacking one problem, a group over here, and nobody's collaborating or consolidating and nobody's asking the grassroots organizations what really works. So at Penn North, at Penn North, we know what works. We know that if we address housing, we address education. So we have a GED program. We have acupuncture. We have computer literacy. We have Tyrell Moyd is in the audience, and his assistant Jackie, and they set up programs for people to go to become community health workers at Johns Hopkins. So if you change somebody's income, you change what their Social Security number does, they're going to feel better about themselves. Why are they going to use drugs?
Yeah.
So that's going to change. But if you just keep putting people in treatment and you get them clean for 6 months, and they still come out with no GED, no resume, no workforce development, no housing, so then what's going to change? Nothing. They go back to living in the basement, smoking blunts, sleeping next to the pit bull.
Yeah.
And they come out smelling like pit bulls, basements, and blunts.
That's to be expected, yeah.
So we need the experts to come down to the ground level and get with grassroots organizations and see what really works.
Yeah. Well, and Kiarra, what do people get wrong about Baltimore? And it's okay if I got something wrong about Baltimore in the article. You can say that. I won't be mad.
A lot of people don't see the beauty in Baltimore. It's like, how they say a diamond in the rough, like Baltimore is that diamond in the rough. Like, there's a lot of great things about Baltimore, and it's not just downtown, and it's not just Fells Point. Like, you can come to Sandtown, Winchester, and find that same beauty. I think people just don't look for it.
Yeah.
Because of what they hear about those areas. Like, we got some of the best people, like the most talented people right in Sandtown, Winchester.
Yeah.
Grew up there, but somehow have been stuck there based on stigmas that people who never even lived there have created. So,
Yeah. Well, and you're trying to change some of those stigmas now, right?
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. It's something that struck me is that a lot of people that I met said that they wanted to help other people, like people who were recovering from addiction. They wanted to get right back out there and help others. So, yeah. Well, we have some time for questions from the audience if you guys have any. We'll have mic runners coming around. Any questions yet? Oh, there's one right there.
Hi, my name's Daniel Heineman. I'm a physician at Johns Hopkins, and I live on the west side, actually, not far from Penn North, and take the metro from there to work often. But you mentioned affordable housing as one of the really big needs for people recovering. And there's been a lot of conversation in the city recently about affordable housing and the lack of investment in it by the city. And I was just wondering if you could comment more on kind of your vision for that and how you see that as an opportunity where, as a community, we could step up and really serve the health needs of our neighbors.
That's a question for me? Good question. So in Sandtown, Winchester, we have so many abandoned buildings, and they're beautiful buildings. They've been there forever, and they're just sitting there. So why doesn't some organization come in and create a workforce development? All those young guys that are standing on the corner could learn skills like plumbing, electrician, demolition, and then you create those places, and you create rooms, you create rent-to-owns, you create own property ownership, and you create these jobs, and you let these people purchase these houses instead of keep doing the same old sad thing, Section 8 vouchers and projects and all that. Give people ownership, and they'll take care of the community. They'll love the community. And you create an income and create a workforce development and raise the tax rate in Baltimore is what we need for the school system, right? And you just create this whole cycle. So at Penn North, what we do for our employees and our clients. So we have the historic 181 building where some of the people, Supreme Court Justice went there, Cab Calloway went there, Billie Holiday went there, my mother went there. If you lived in Baltimore, you went to, it's the second oldest high school in the United States where African Americans can go, and then it's the second high school in the United States that was ever integrated. So you have this building now that's an apartment building. So we rent apartments and we subsidize them for our employees and for graduates of the program. So when the people leave our program, they don't have to go back to living in the basement or sofa surfing, sleeping on somebody's sofa. So why are we wasting these millions and millions of dollars when we could do something like that? And now we've also purchased 3 buildings where our graduates leave and they pay $500 a month. And 3 of them live in there, and they split the rent, they split the utilities, and they live together well, and they've been in them for 2 or 3 years without a relapse. So why haven't we done that? Why are these buildings, thousands of buildings just sitting there? I walk by them, and I look at them, I say, this is such a shame. This is a sin that you have this much homelessness in this beautiful city. And you have all these abandoned buildings just sitting here. Nobody's doing anything about it. So that's one of the things I think. We've actually, let me say this, we had a young lady that came to our program. She already had a bachelor's degree when she got there. She's a severe alcoholic. She stayed with us 2 years and got a master's degree in social work. And now she's traveling in Africa, helping people and being a social worker. So if you take these same people and you change their direction and change how they look at things and change that, okay, the insurance company pays for 6 months. Penn North pays for the other year and a half. So what?
Yeah. Well, thank you guys so much for being here today. I really appreciate it. And thank you all for coming out. Thank you.
Thank you.